The Boundary Park Alert System is sponsored by Pendle New Tech, a family-run Lancashire business you can rely on for everything fire safety related, including supply and installation, maintenance, testing, certification, alarms, risk assessments, like I said, anything fire safety related. But what do I know? Visit pendlenewtech.com and they'll sort you right out. Check the show notes for more information. This is a test of the Boundary Park Alert System. Hello and welcome to the Boundary Park Alert System podcast with me, Matt Dean. No London correspondent this week, no Andy Halliwell. I believe he's away celebrating his 10th wedding anniversary. He's definitely doing that at some point. I'm pretty sure it's this week. I've got memory like a sieve. But regardless, whether it's this week or whenever, congratulations to Andy and Lucy on their 10-year wedding anniversary. I hope you're having a wonderful time. No Dave Bradley, as I was going to call him a surrogate then. That brings up all kinds of horrible imagery, so I'm not going to say that. No Dave Bradley as a substitute. I do have two people with me, though. So I'm going to say two fan guests this because they're both most definitely Oldham Athletic fans, but they will be familiar to you through their work with a particular organisation, Oldham Athletic Supporters Foundation. So I'm going to, I think you've both been on the podcast before, so we've done all those questions. So I think I'm just going to introduce Dom Lowe and Chris Stringer, who I assume are both in their individual rooms in Leeds. Are you both calling in from Leeds? Is that right?
I'm Leeds. I think Dom's...
I'm Pontefract, technically.
Oh, right, okay. But that over that way, over Yorkshire way.
On the wrong side of the Pennines, for sure.
On the wrong side. Yeah. On the wrong side of the Pennines, but representing the right side of the Pennines. So, Chris Stringer, you are a director of Oldham Athletic Supporters Foundation. So just so everybody knows which one is Chris Stringer. Say hello, Chris Stringer.
Hello, Chris Stringer.
Yeah. I'll ask you a question. Sort of like a slightly more bespoke question this time. But what's your favourite thing about you're a director? What's your favourite thing about being a director of OASF?
Oh, it's a good question. I'm enjoying, especially at the moment, really sort of representing fans' interests to the club at the moment. They seem to be being particularly receptive to our thoughts and ideas and sort of really fighting for sort of better prices and better sort of conditions is probably the wrong word, but sort of, that sort of thing for fans at the moment.
Yeah. Brill. Dom, hello.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back.
Thanks. Yeah, it's nice to be back. Thanks for having us on.
It's a pleasure. What's your favourite thing about this season been, Dom?
This season so far? It's nice to be playing against teams that when my wife asks me who we're playing, she knows where half of the places are.
Never mind the football team, just the actual place. Yeah.
yeah. She didn't know these places had football teams, but yesterday not so much, to be honest. She asked me who we were playing. I said we're playing Crawley, and she looked at me quizzically and said, "Where's that?" I said, "Kent somewhere, I think."
Yeah, down south somewhere. Yesterday was a little bit of a return to National League days in some ways, because with all due respect to Crawley Town, they are a National League level club in most ways, aren't they? They're following. I didn't catch, because I sit in the Rochdale Road and I don't know if you have a clearer understanding of the Tannoy, Chris, where you sit in the Rochdale Road and about 20 feet away, but did you catch the attendance, anyone yesterday?
I think I heard 88 and we assumed it was 188. So
it was 188. I think that was it.
I tell you what, Harriet's very good at getting the away attendance, She went for 180 yesterday.
I guess 120, yeah. She was being very smug.
I know. I went for 130. So she won that one. So well done, Harriet. You win nothing. But it's fair play to them. It's a long way. They're not doing very well. They certainly wouldn't have been expecting to pick up much in the way of points yesterday. And I think probably they'll have gone home reasonably happy with a 2-0 defeat. If there is such thing as being happy with a defeat, it could have been a lot worse. Were you both? I know you were there, Chris. Were you there as well yesterday, Dom?
Yeah. I was in the Joe Royal stand. I keep wanting to call it the North stand, but that brings back memories.
yeah, and it's called the Joe Royal stand, and for good reason. So yeah, I know what you mean though. It kind of like the North stand was the name for a long time, and but yeah, it's the Joe Royal stand, and it was pretty full yesterday. I thought the top tier of the main stand was pretty full. I think that's usually a good indicator. A good crowd. Was it 7 something yesterday? It was announced as, was it?
It was over 7, yeah.
Yeah,
just over 7, which is surprising, as you say, with not many away fans.
No,
it's amazing what a couple of wins can do.
Exactly. So we'll talk a bit more about OASF a bit later on. We'll play a tag team version of Latix Mind with you both later on. So yeah. So that'll be good. You can help each other out there, and you'll tell us. You've got some things that you'd like to tell us about. I've got a dog barking. Obviously, that's great. I don't know if you can hear him. But let's start with yesterday. And like you said, Chris. Yesterday was coming off the back of two wins, 2 clean sheets, undefeated in 3, and obviously fans were feeling pretty buoyant and expectant. I think of a win yesterday. I think that might have been why people went. They're like, well, I think we'll win today. But I found it to be a thoroughly enjoyable afternoon. I enjoyed it. I thought we could have easily had more goals. I think 3 or 4-0 wouldn't have flattered us yesterday, but. I really enjoyed it. Chris, you literally do sit about 20 feet from me to my left behind the goal in the Rochdale Road end. So I know what the atmosphere in the Rochdale Road end was like. Dom, in the Joe Royal stand, what's the vibe around you? Was it all pretty feel good? I mean, obviously the referee contributed massively to the mood yesterday, but in general terms, in Latix, how was the atmosphere around you?
Yeah, it was good. My ears are still ringing from the people sat behind me screaming at the referee, particularly during the first half. But it's good. I think people quite happy. There wasn't much moaning going on. I don't think I heard anyone shout, "Get it forward!" at all, which is lovely. So yeah, it was good. I thought it was a good performance. I thought we started really, really well in the first sort of 15-20 minutes before their keeper. Was horrifically injured by the wind or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good performance. But I thought, to be fair, I don't think they were much cop, and really we need to be beating teams like that. But everyone, I speak to people in the fan bar beforehand, and several people said to me, "I reckon we'll win this 2-0," and we did. And I think that's what we should really be expecting if we want to be, at the top end of the table, or at least in the top half.
Yeah, I mean, our form, Chris, is really, you take those 3 defeats on the spin and spread them out over the last 13 games. We've only lost 3 in the last 13 games. Is that obviously nobody likes to win 3 games on the bounce like that, but overall, I mean, it's been pretty solid, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're just cursing those 3 defeats now, really, aren't we? Because we were sort of making steady progress upwards, and then collapsed, and now. We're sort of, if we're wanting to make the playoffs, which Mellon seems to talk like he wants to, it's sort of, up against it, really. But if you offered us last season that we're going to be comfortably mid-table, not at all any risk of going down, which I didn't really think we would do, but to sort of have that knowledge that we'd be this comfortable at this point, I'd probably have snapped your hands off.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really
snapped your hands off. But
no.
I think I'd expect us not to get relegated. To be fair,
me too. To be fair, but we look very comfortable.
We do look fairly comfortable. Sometimes more comfortable than we looked in the National League. Sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, that's down to having better players, isn't it? That's just got a better squad, I think, and they say the top end of the National League and to bottom end of League 2, there's not much in it, so. I think we've just got better players, haven't we, this season?
Probably, yeah. I think one of the things that I think that I felt going into this game, in terms of that sort of feel good factor, is probably that we've got more and more of our players back from injury. And we've not got Tom Conlon and we probably are still missing a couple, but having Jack Stevens available, we've got Kavanagh, we've got Fondop, we've got Garner, we've got all these sort of attacking players. We were able to play a proper 4-4-2 yesterday.
Stevens is the massive one of those, I think. You look at the way yesterday he was linking up with Kavanagh. I assume he would have done something similar with Michael Mellon had he been back, and that's just exactly what we've been crying out for all season. And to lose him, what was it, the first game of the season, it chipped a bone on his ankle or something.
Yeah.
Just, little bits like that make such a big difference.
I think it's all about strength in depth. I think you need to have a good squad if you're going to do well. Because you're going to be incredibly lucky, and I don't know if people are just built differently these days than they used to be. But obviously back in the day on the plastic pitch and all that, those lads played 60 games week in, week out on a really hard surface. Used to go out and get leathered every Tuesday. At least, and somehow managed to get through most of the season. It doesn't. You seem to need more of your squad. You tend to have certain players that seem to sort of like just battle through unless they get an incredibly serious injury. But you do need that strength in depth, and I think the thing that has, because our squad is, because over the last number of years we had such poor squads of players. I mean, we could barely string a good first 11, never mind, having a good squad. And I think that's the thing where, on our day now, we've got a really good first 11 for this level, who can beat anybody in the division. But like you said, with Stevens, you lose one or two key players, and it can make a big difference because you don't have the quality in the squad to come in and replace necessarily. But yesterday, I thought Kavanagh looked really good. Like you made the point, Dom, they were crap. They did cause us some problems. Now let's give them some credit. Hudson still needed to make some good saves. There was times where we were still having to defend very deep in our box and things like that. So they had a goal. We give them credit for that. But the game could have been out of sight by half time if it wasn't for some good saves and maybe not the best finishing from Latix, which is the story of the season. But having said that, I think going forward now, like you said, Kavanagh and Stevens definitely look like there's some understanding. And what Kavanagh likes to have, he likes to have those players running ahead of him, doesn't he? He's, like Drummond and Fondop. Drummond, Fondop, Stevens, Kavanagh, all wanting to run at the defence and turn them and put them on the back foot instead of having the ball just lobbed over the top to them all the time. And then I got to give a shout out to Ollie Hammond as well, because I thought when he came on and played in that number 10 role, made brilliant runs, really stretching and getting in behind the defenders, linking up with the wider players. I'm just one of these people who's always, until something's not possible, I'm going to believe it's possible. And I like having that hope that we can still make the playoffs, lingering at this time of the season.
It's killing me at the moment because, I think we'll probably need 75 points to do it this season. That's what they reckon, the stats guys. Yeah. So that's another 30 points. It's 2 and a bit points a game. It's a lot of wins we're going to have to get through to that.
Yeah.
It's like all of my sort of brain knows that it's not going to happen. And yet, like you say, there's part of me going, "Oh, we could do it. We could do this again." Someone, teams do it from occasion. We might do it, and all it's going to do is it's setting me up for disappointment. But I'm the same.
But even when you say about disappointment, I mean, even if we didn't make it, but we were to finish in the top 10 and we had a really good goal, and we finished the season strong, and that would just be really, really rewarding because, like you said, we've got the players coming back from injury, we've coming into the squad. You're looking at next season now, either way, and it's going to most likely be in League Two, even if we got into the playoffs this season. Let's just say it's more than likely not going to be like it was last season. We probably wouldn't make it through to Wembley and get promoted. So we might do, but chances are you're not.
I'll tell you what, if we go on a run like that, I would back us in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, who knows? I mean, I'm trying to set myself up for minimal disappointment, Chris. But I'm
all in at this point. If I'm going to be optimistic, I'm going to be optimistic.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I think that the foundations are really good. We were having a little chat during the game and just looking at who was out of contract next season in the starting 11. We weren't quite sure. Well, Caprice is out of contract. Manny, he's a big one. We need to get tied down. And did they give Drummond a 12-month deal or
I have in my head it was
deal?
a year an extension.
Yeah, so I think we might need to get Drummond signed up. But other than that, I think everybody is going to be with us. Everyone who's in the starting lineup was going to be with us next season. So that's the basis of where we're working from, which is far healthier than we've been for years. I think
there's some saleable assets in there as well, isn't there? You know, if we're losing any, we're probably losing them to a reasonable fee. I mean, Matt Hudson's the obvious one.
Yeah,
you know, you'd like to think that we're getting, you know, well into six figures, if not towards a 7-figure fee for him with his performances this season.
Yeah, he's been excellent, and I think it goes to show that it was a really good decision by the club, basically, to give him a longer contract, which you don't really do at this level, haven't done for a long time. I'd like to see us do to take a bit of risk on some of the better outfield players as well, particularly Stevens.
Yeah.
We've got I'd give him an extension,
100%
today.
Yeah. Because he is an asset, and he's a good player.
Yeah.
I mean, his injury seems like a sort of more of a freak thing. It's not like he's as far as I'm aware, I don't know if he's got it's not like he's got some of the recurring muscle problems.
It was 2 impact injuries. It was a chip bone, and I was just trying with someone about this. It was a chip bone, and then it was a broken collarbone or some sort of bruise or something. Really
sort of just unlucky injuries for this, especially to get one after the other like that. But he's shown his quality. He's going to be up there with your top scorers because of his composure in front of goal, isn't he? He's just, that second goal yesterday. Again, credit to Fondop for the header, good header from a defensive position, set him off, and you just knew when Stevens ran, he just kept running towards goal, and when he cut inside and Kavanagh made the run to the left and it just opened up for him, you knew he was going to stick it away.
You know what was great for that goal as well? There was 3 of them there.
Yeah, Drummond was bombing on as well, wasn't he?
He had the option to pass to Kavanagh, pass to Drummond, hit it, and if it hadn't ended up in the net, there's a good chance that there's someone bouncing on the rebound. And that we've so infrequently seen that this season.
Yeah. Well, we've got players there that can get up the pitch, and crucially with the ball in Stevens' case there. And there was another one that was unlucky in the first half. I think it was Stevens who had a shot as well, and Kavanagh had followed it in, but just kind of it didn't bounce back to where he was from the save from the keeper. So it could have been easily 4 or 5. Because obviously, I think if we get another one or get a couple early on, their heads go down a bit. Maybe 2-0 is one of those score lines where the opposition doesn't lose spirit because if they get a goal, it's a game changer. But it was pretty comfortable yesterday, and I think so. It should be against a team that's struggling down near the bottom of the table. We are much better than those teams, I think. But maybe we haven't got the squad depth to compete with the teams up at the top of the table, have we? That's basically the bottom line. I think good result for Grimsby yesterday, winning at Notts County. Just goes to show that these teams up there are beatable, even in their own backyard. But we've got a really, really tough game now on Tuesday night against Bromley. But what do you think, lads? The mindset is going to be from the manager going into that game. It's obviously we've beaten them once this season already. We've broken the Bromley duck. We'd not beaten them until earlier on this season. We've taken 2 hammerings down there in the National League, 3-0 on both occasions. Do you think that the manager's going to set us up with a let's have a go mentality of the 4-4-2? Stick with what's been a winning combo, or do you think he'll go down there with a little bit more of a sort of try to hold them and hit them on the break kind of thing?
I think he'll go for it. I mean, you read his comments in the press, he seems to want to go for it. I mean, the cynic in me says it's Mickey Mellon and he'll set us up with 5 at the back. But I was looking at Bromley's last 5 or 6 games. They've drawn a lot of them. Yeah. Yesterday it was they beat Accrington 2-1. Accrington have not been the best this season, and with 10 men.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're sort of really putting teams away. I'd like to think that if we ran at them and gave them a go, we could at least get a point, but why not 3?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be. I can just see it being a typical away performance where we get them on the break type thing. I think we'll win. I can see us winning definitely, but I don't know whether it will be a sort of a masterclass in possession-based football. I mean, even yesterday wasn't really. I think we had less possession overall.
Oh, I tell you what. I'm gonna dig something out that Andy sent to us in the week actually, which is really interesting, based on that possession stat. But before I do that, let's have a listen to Mickey Mellon, because regardless of what we think, it really matters a lot more what Mickey Mellon thinks about yesterday's win over Crawley.
We're the fire experts, fire safety experts at Pendle New Tech. We train fire marshals, fire safety marshals at Pendle New Tech. Pendle New Tech have fire experts across the UK, covering all your local and national needs. With over 100 years experience in the fire safety industry, you know that you can trust Pendle New Tech. Right, enough of that now.
Mickey, what were the most pleasing features of that win for you today?
I think the obvious one, clean sheet, good goals, getting the victory. They're a tricky team to play against. All credit to them. They're a really difficult team to play against because they kind of play with this freedom that you don't come across every week. And credit to them for that. It's really difficult to. You've got to work very, very hard against them, and because they have this freedom and this sort of, I don't know. They just this gay abandon if they just go and knock it around and things like that, which is great to see, but it makes it very difficult to play, and you've got to work very hard against them. You've got to punish them when you get the opportunities. And to be fair to us, I think we were disappointed we don't score from a number of chances that we had, probably in the first 15, 20 minutes. A lot of chances. And you're just thinking, we've got to take one of these. When you're so on top and you create so many chances, you've got to take that opportunity. We didn't, but we still looked threatening, and you're just thinking the amount of sort of free kicks. I don't even want to get on to him. I don't want to speak about him because I'll get into trouble. The amount of free kicks that there was, they remain dangerous because they can go and put things into your box. But a really good performance for us going into a really busy period.
You mentioned the chances early on, and there were really good intentions from the start, were there, even though the goal didn't come until later on? Yeah,
we knew what we have to be. I said to you, Alan, on Friday, we kind of know what the best version of us is now. We know the things that we have to do well in order for us to get a performance out of ourselves. I think anybody who watches us week to week will see that. And we had to show the qualities today. And to be fair to the lads, that we didn't really come off it. We kept the foot down and kept going and going and going. And then got to a stage where we really controlled it. I think Matty's made one good save at 2-0. Where the boys, there's a cross. But I don't remember too much more than that. But the players kept the foot down. And then again, pleasing thing, the boys that come on again, because we've got a really busy period coming up. So the boys that come off the bench gave us a lot of energy and carried on the jobs that we had done when we worked on this game Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. They come on and seamlessly come on and did the jobs that they knew that we needed to do in order to try and get a result today.
2 goals for Jack Stevens, of course. What can you say about his contribution?
I think he's such a good player. I really do. We've waited a long time for him. He obviously had that injury, then came back for a little bit, then got another one. So we kind of, obviously in the summer when we recruited him to come here and play. We didn't know how quickly we'd hit the ground running because obviously the demands are coming to play for Oldham. But we knew that we had a good player. So it was about getting him fit. getting him up to speed and seeing what he's capable of, which everybody's seeing now. I thought particularly his second goal, I thought was a superb finish, and other players might have panicked there, but he kept going and believed in himself and slotted it in the bottom corner. And I was gutted for him because he had an opportunity where he had about 16 the chops, and just was unlucky that he couldn't get his shot off. It would have been a brilliant hat trick and well deserved for a really good performance. He's been sort of getting to 16, 70 minutes, and he's admittedly said that he was getting tired, so he's worked really hard on his fitness. And today, I think he did a really good 95-minute physical and technical and tactical performance, and did really well for us.
You mentioned that obviously we've had to wait to see Jack because of the injuries he's had. I think it's 5 goals now in Oldham shirt, 4 since the middle of January. The impact he's having on the team is huge, isn't it?
Yeah. And like we've said, and we put the demands on ourselves, and I put it on them as players because we're all talking about them and saying how well they've done. They've got to score as goals. They're in the team to score as goals. There's no use me standing here and saying you play well if you play at the front end of the pitch for us and don't score as goals. But they're doing that, so that's good, and we're really happy with that. And if they keep doing that and keep working their socks off from the front, particularly today, the pressing was outstanding at times, and then the boys come in behind that, and the work rate was incredible. If they keep doing that, then we can keep winning games, and let's see what it takes us.
It obviously helps having those sort of players available, but the shape that you've settled on in the last couple of games, is that helping bring out the best of those attacking players? Yeah,
but I had to wait, haven't I? I've had to wait. It's been difficult because we've only just brought Kavanagh. So he's only come into Stevens, he's been missing. So it's been a wee bit like that where we've had to kind of wait for the wide man that we believed was necessary in order for us to play that shape. There's no use just saying, we're going to go and play that shape. You need to try and get your best players on the pitch to play it. And at the minute, we believe that we're getting the players that are in form and gives the best chance of winning games. And that's the shape to go and do that with. And I hope that I can keep developing that, keep making the players better, keep us getting clean sheets, because that was that 3 on the bounce, which is terrific. I thought at the back we were outstanding today, because the work rate will only be seen by people who know football. We'll only see that when the ball goes to the outside centre back and our outside sort of players that play in the wide areas go get to their wide men. The work rate for the 2 full-backs to release and run 20 yards constantly is a real shift. And the 2 of them did that today. And then the back 4 slide across, and that's a shift as well, because you've got to do that for the whole game against when you play against teams like that. So I'm really, really pleased with them.
Well done today.
Thank you, Al.
Mickey Mellon there on the win against Crawley at home. Do you think, lads, that we'll ever be able to say that a Mickey Mellon team plays with gay abandon, or will that just be Crawley?
Yeah, no, we could see the video. We could see the look on his face. The idea of a football team playing with freedom. It does seem a bit averse to him. I thought it was a good, interesting point, though, to be fair, because I haven't seen a team play or set up in the way that Crawley did yesterday so far this season. I thought it was a fair point to make, that they are a tricky team to play against. It was a very open game. You know, for example, when we had a corner and they were defending a corner, they were leaving three men on the halfway line.
Yeah,
and I was quite glad actually to see that we were not leaving 4 men back. We had 2 men back on the halfway line, and then 1 or 2 in front on the edge of the box. So that was good. I also enjoyed his Jose Mourinho impression there with the "if I speak, I'm in big trouble." But yeah, it was nice that the referee performance didn't end up actually being a talking point.
It was the first half really that was the shocker, wasn't it? I think he probably realised as he left the pitch, he thought, I'm probably going to have to rein it in a little bit here in the second half, otherwise I'm going to be in danger of leaving here in one piece.
he lost the plot, didn't he? He just
Yeah.
he just so inconsistent as well. You know, sort of some light tackles were being given as a foul, but other ones weren't.
Yeah.
Some pretty minor fouls were getting a yellow, and some far more aggressive ones weren't. All of it was just totally inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, as you say, it wasn't as bad in the second half, but there were definitely decisions where I was like, that is just wrong. And then it was probably because it was. I felt like in the second half, a lot more of the sort of 50-50 type decisions were going our way. We probably didn't get on the back as much. But if I was a Crawley fan in that second half, I think I would have been fuming.
There were some like bad decisions we benefited from at times. I think I turned to Harry at one point and went, "I've always liked this ref, cracking ref."
Yeah.
I tell you what, I do love a boundary part reaction to a ref they don't like. There was I've not seen it that bad for a while.
No, me neither.
Like both sides, like all three sides of the ground, like we're up and really giving him some stick. So but that you only get that if you're making consistently poor decisions, because it's not like we were either losing the game either. It was just a like, come on, you are terrible. Sort it out, mate.
Yeah, I think the worst one for me was, I don't know if either of you two saw it from your sort of vantage point. It might be because I was on the side, but there was a point at which I think, it was in the first half. I think it was Stevens and their winger or their fullback. They had a bit of off the ball thing, and he like properly booted Stevens off the ball. Yeah. And it was like right in front of the linesman.
Yeah.
The referee was kind of looking that direction as well. The fourth official was right there, and just no one did anything. And then I think Mellon or Braben ended up getting booked, because obviously it was absolutely ludicrous that nothing happened about that.
Yeah.
I just saw him end up on the ground. I didn't actually know what had happened to him, but I saw the reaction from the paddock, and they,
Yeah, but ultimately the referee's performance didn't make any difference. I think what he mentioned. Obviously, Alan asked him about the shape, and he made interesting points about putting the right players in the right positions. I think maybe. I mean, I've been a little bit frustrated with Josh Hawkes maybe not getting the chance to play out wide. I think he could do that job, but he seems to be in and out of favour or in and out of fitness or something. There's no doubt that Stevens is the best option. I think Drummond wasn't always for me a winger, but I think with the confidence that he's got from this season and the confidence that he's got from playing with the team and having actually getting a good run, I think he played really well. He can play that position. He can play off the striker. He's not a number 10, but he can play off the striker. But he can play out on that right hand side. And I think you got to give credit to Mellon, because people have been talking about the way he sets up and not having enough attacking players. He signed Kavanagh, Stevens, and Drummond this season, and I think all of those players who played yesterday in that front line are very much attacking players and putting defenders on the back foot. Change the way that we play. It's not a case of us lumping the ball up. We've had that this season, and it's been frustrating for all of us. And there's been some formations and selections and signings where you've had to query it. But I don't think we can be arguing that he doesn't want to play this way. He signed these players. He's played them now. I think it's a sign of things to come for next season, and I'm really pleased. And I thought you can't have a side full of attacking players playing with Gay Abandon every week. You have to have some solidity. You have to have some work. You have to have a Woods in there and a Pet in there and things like that. But I think if that's, you might alter the shape depending on maybe what you think, who's got available, and maybe in some cases who you're playing away from home. I think Tuesday is going to be really interesting in that respect. We'll see what he does. But just to mention, he mentioned work rate and some of the stuff that you don't see necessarily, you don't always notice. So I've got to credit Mike Fondup yesterday. There was a point when Robson, and this is not just the only thing, he worked his socks off. And I think if Fondup is working hard and giving his all, the team is more likely to win. He's when he's on it and he's firing and he's just grafting, it makes a massive difference to the team. And I think he played like that yesterday. But there was one incident where Robson had got really far forward and was literally down on the goal line and completely out of position, and Fondop like busted his ass to get back into the left position in order to keep the shape of the team. It's things like that we've got in this team now, and we've got under Mellon team of players that are working for each other, working for the manager, working for the fans. Doesn't come off every single week, but you can't doubt their commitment. You can see how much it means when they win, and they're giving their all. And for me, that for our first season back in this division, it's not been perfect, but it's been pretty darn good, I think. And I enjoyed beating. All right, Crawley Town, not doing so well, but I enjoyed beating a team comfortably yesterday. That was nice. It's not always been like that this season, but let's celebrate the things that we can. And I think the crowd were appreciative of it, of all those things that Mellon mentioned in his interview. And yeah, it's looking positive, I would say. Now, I want to bring you both back to the point that I made earlier on about possession. Right, so Andy scours the internet for interesting things all the time to share with us. In this particular instance, it's a table of the 10 plus passing sequences this season in League Two. I don't know if you've seen it already, lads, but it won't surprise you that top of that pile with 248 strings of passes is not counted. Keep the ball really well, string lots of passes together, very, very much a possession-based football team. So they've got 248. I don't know if you remember the stat or if you know, but where would Latics come in that? There's 24 teams, is that right? 24 teams in the division. Where would Latics come in that with how many passes do you think?
I think I've seen it, so I'll let you go for this one, Dom.
Oh, it's at 10 plus passes, 10 plus pass sequences. I would say we are in the bottom half of that table. I would
Correct.
say about 17th. I'm sure there must be teams worse than us.
17th? Did you pick 17th for any particular reason, or is that just subliminal? You're going back to our League One days there.
It's a lucky number for Oldham.
Yeah. Well, you're not far off, Dom. We were 20th in that table.
Wow, that
is it 9? Yeah, 20th.
I think it was 20th. Yeah.
Yeah, with 51. So we've managed to string 10 or more passes together 51 times this season. Now, Tuesday's opponents and top of the league, Bromley. Where do they feature in that?
Please tell me they're lower than us. Are they lower than us?
Dom, they are lower than us.
Incredible.
They are bottom of the pile significantly with just 19.
So what you're saying there, Matt, is those guys in the main stand that get it forwards. They're right.
Yep, they're absolutely spot on. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're talking about. Get it forward. It's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean,
about with it.
It just goes to show that it's not about keeping the ball and possession. It's about being effective. It's about doing what you do well, and whatever it is that Bromley do, which is obviously not, pass it around at the back and knock it around and keep hold of it. They obviously are quite direct, and it works. It's about being good at what you do. Chesterfield are in second place for what it's worth, and Walsall, it won't surprise you, second bottom of that list. And we've seen them play; they were very, very direct, and it seemed to work for them better on earlier in the season than it has done. Later on in the season, Newport are right up there with 121. They're in the top 12. They're 11th. So, possession isn't everything. It's what you do with it that counts. We've all heard that before, haven't we, lads? Not necessarily football related, but it's what you do with it that counts. And I thought it was fascinating. So we can expect Bromley to be pretty direct, and I think that look, I mean, we played Walsall this season. They beat us at Boundary Park, but they weren't impressive. Went down there and beat them. I think a direct team suits us, doesn't it? With our defence, with Manny and Daniels at the back, they can deal with that. We've already beaten them at home, so do we need to fear that direct style, or do we just play our game and go with the 4-4-2? What do you reckon, lads? I mean, we've kind of already touched on this, but
if the back two play like they can, there's no problem. What makes me a bit nervy is that I think Daniels in particular has had, to be fair, the last few games, like the rest of the team, he's been really good. But those games we were losing, he looked totally out of it and had done for a few games, I think, post coming back from injury. So my worry is whether or not the back two, but especially Daniels, are on form. But yeah, I mean, my instinct would be just to play out with play. I think, you saw what we did in the playoffs last season. We came out for 3 games and we just played aggressively in how we knew we could play. If the goal for Mellon is to the scene, let's get in the playoffs, we've got to do that now for 15 games or whatever we've got left.
Yeah, I just worry about. I'm fairly relaxed about the sort of centre halves. I'm worried about sort of midfield really, and sort of picking up second balls.
Yeah,
we've got Pet and Woods. I thought they both played really well yesterday. I thought it was one of Woods' best games I've seen since the start of the season from him. But I don't know if it's sustainable for them to be a midfield 2 long term. If there are some bigger and more bruising midfields out there who've got more legs than Woods particularly. I don't know whether
Pet's gone invisible a couple of times this season as well, hasn't he? Probably more than a couple of times, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, but saying that, like, would I rather Kai Payne play one of them than one of them? No, not really. I've not seen enough of Kane Taylor to suggest that he could do the job better. So yeah, I think that's a difficult one. Ideally, we'd just get Tom Conlon back, but I can't do that.
Maybe for the playoffs, done.
Yeah.
I think maybe that there is a need for more physicality in the midfield, or maybe an extra body with, like you say, with the second balls, because that will be a feature of Bromley's play on Tuesday. But we'll have to see. But I think you're right. Daniels has looked a bit shaky in some games of late. I thought he looked a lot more composed yesterday. I think composure is probably a good word for him. He just looked like he was in control of what he was doing, and
he wasn't like he might have trimmed down a bit as well,
making mistakes. Yeah, well, I don't know. I can't see, it's too far away from where I am to tell for that. But I thought that it was. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I don't. Funnily enough, we've got, like I said before, we've got no reason to feel confident about Tuesday night, but I don't think there's any reason for us to fear Bromley. They're top of the league, but they're drawing a lot of games. They're not losing many, but they're drawing a few games, and we're in good form. And I think Tuesday night's going to be one of those things. I think if we were to manage to come away from Tuesday with a win, then you'd be sort of like, hang on a minute, this. Maybe. We've got Tranmere next Saturday. Tranmere are having an absolute nightmare, aren't they? So there's potential. I mean, if we can get 6 points for the next couple of games, that would be huge. We also do have games in hand on the teams above us, and obviously Tuesday night is one of them. So winning that really is crucial if we are going to have a push towards the playoffs at the end of the season. Let's be conservative.
If we're to sort of sneak that 7th spot, I reckon we probably need 30 points. So what's that? We're going to need probably 7 or 8 wins to be realistic, at least, and a few draws in there.
Yeah,
possibly even like 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I would just be delighted to finish the season with all our best players fit, getting lots of game time, playing well, scoring goals, and enjoying the football. Boundary Park full as full as it'll be this season towards the end of the season, and everyone just finishing the season on a high, regardless of where we finish in the season, because the overall picture is really, really rosy. We'll find out hopefully relatively soon what's going on with Mellon's contract. I think I've been very clear. I hope he signs a new deal and we move on into the next season with Mellon on board. And I'm looking forward to next season already, which is a really nice a really nice feeling, I've got to say. The Boundary Park Alert System is sponsored by Pendle New Tech, a family-run Lancashire business you can rely on for everything fire safety related, including supply and installation, maintenance, testing, certification, alarms, risk assessments, like I said, anything fire safety related. But what do I know? Visit pendle-nu-tech.com and they'll sort you right out. Check the show notes for more information. Before we put you both through your paces, well, it's kind of a little, can't say through your paces when you're doing a team effort on Lattice Mind. Let's talk about the present and the future a bit more in relation to Oldham Athletic Supporters Foundation. Lads, what's going on? Give us an update.
Yeah, well, I think most of our time recently has been spent on ticket prices and season tickets. So I'm sure, as you can imagine, the club's starting to put together proposals for that. So we've been doing some work on that and trying to work with the club to figure out what we think is sort of a fair price. The move in the world of football and the world generally is towards prices going up. So really, we're sort of trying to see how we can limit that or at least give best value for fans. So I guess that's probably where a lot of our work's been recently done. Fundraising as well.
Yeah, so there's been on the sort of ticketing side of things, we've been, as Chris says, looking at sort of pricing and working with the club on that. I think we've also been looking at away priority as well, which was more of an issue, particularly last season, but may become more of an issue if we get some more big games, and if we do sneak into the playoffs, either this season or next season. We want a robust away priority system, which we didn't really have last season. And then, as you say, Chris, I think the other sort of big thing has been fundraising through our sticker albums and sticker packs, which has been sort of a big thing taking up our time over the last few months, and they've been really successful. I think we've sold tens of thousands of stickers. And it's been unbelievable. More demand than supply.
Yeah, the popularity has been unbelievable. We thought that there'd be people would like them, but the degree to which people have been sort of getting on with them and coming over for the swap stands, and as well as being great for fundraising, it's been great for getting people engaging with OASF and chatting with us, and we can talk about what we're doing.
I think it's such a lovely idea, especially off the back of, the fact that there was something celebratory to put in it has made a huge difference, But just as a little memento of a physical memento, because physical things we don't have as much these days, do we? It's not like back in the day people would keep the cron, and you might. Well, when we're at Wembley, someone will dig a cron out from 1990 and things like that. But nowadays, obviously, most things are online. So I think coming up with that idea and having something physical like that is a really, really lovely memento of the occasion. And it's great to hear that it's been successful as well in terms of fundraising. Did you have a target figure? Has it exceeded that target figure that it's raised?
Yeah, it's far exceeded our expectations, and I think one of the good things about it, as well, from like a broader point of view beyond just OSF. So like, half of what the sort of profits that we make will go to contributing to the club's academy, as well, and then the other half supports OSF and whatever.
It's gone to the 1895 fund, so it's
whatever contingency fund goes in there. So like our contingency fund for. Obviously, it doesn't like it's going to happen anytime soon. But if we come to a place where, we need to be ready to protect the long-term future of the club, then we need to be ready, and that helps us be ready. So we're over, I think, sort of £86,000 in that fund now, and a lot of that's built up from when we did the Legends match before the Rothwell takeover, and it's been supplemented by the work that we've done since, and everyone who's helped contribute to that. But as Chris says, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that we've been doing, and you can sign up as a member of OSF through our website, or you can come to us at our stand in the fan bar, right in front of dartboard number 9. So it's it's £12 a year. You get a welcome pack, you get a pin badge. We're chucking in a sticker album and a sticker pack at the moment as well. It's you get access to sort of the detailed notes of our meetings with the club, so you can see what's going on with the club and how they're responding to the things, the issues that we're engaging them on. And every so often we do a sort of a members' questions sort of special with Darren Royal, where we go out and we say, what question would you ask to Darren Royal, and then we publish his answers for them as well. But yeah, I think generally, the more we come together, the stronger voice we have in the boardroom. I think one of the big changes we've had in the last year has been we're getting into the boardroom more now. So we talked, I think, quite a bit last year about supporter directors and whether there should be a supporter on the club board. We have instead found a solution with the club where, instead of having one person who has sort of a conflict of interest, I guess, between representing the fans and representing the club.
Just to be clear, it wasn't about just having a supporter on. It was about having an OASF director on as that supporter board member, because they'd be in the position of being a director of the two organisations. And we found in the past that was just a really, really invidious position for them to be in. You were stuck between a rock and a hard place, essentially. So you've now found a solution that kind of eases that. So carry on telling us about that, please, Dom.
Yeah, so essentially, instead of having one person, for example, if it was Chris, so instead of Chris being both a board member of Supporters Foundation and the club, and then not being able to tell the Supporters Foundation stuff that he knows from being a board member of the club, we are instead sending a representative of Supporters Foundation to every club board meeting every month. So we sit in on the board meeting. We have access to their the agendas and the papers that come. We give our views
and contribute fully. I think is the important thing. We're not just sat there, making notes in the corner. We're contributing fully to the discussions that are going on.
Yeah.
You've been a couple of times, Chris. I think I've been a couple of times.
Yeah, so I went to the last one just recently, and it's always good to see what's going on and sort of make sure that there's no crazy decisions being made from our perspective. I think what Dom touched on with that difficulty of having a single representative. I mean, the prime example is Barry Owen. That
who
people's feeling. I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to say that on this podcast.
No swearing.
But also more recent examples where, like you say, they've really found themselves in a between a rock and a hard place, because if you're a director of the football club, you have a legal obligation to the football club, but also if you're on the OASF board, you have a legal obligation to OASF. And a prime example might be something like ticket prices, where although privately you'd hope that the OASF director would be advocating for the fans, publicly they have to come out and support the club, because that's the role of being the director of a football club. Yeah. And so you put yourself in a really horrible position. Whereas I think the solution we found recently is working nicely. I think we've developed a really nice working relationship with the club at the moment. We're able to be, I think, critical friends, which is how I personally see OASF's role. Recently with Craig Dootson coming on in the COO role, I think that's his role allows him to get on with a bit more of the day-to-day stuff, I think, rather than Darren. And as part of that, I think, has meant the club has had a bit more time to meaningfully discuss things with us and genuinely consult with us.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of learning from, like, my time on the board was obviously during that very turbulent time for the club, and it was a turbulent time for OASF as well. Let's be fair. It changed a lot. The term critical friend was something that was thrown around a lot as a thing, but I guess one of the accusations was it wasn't critical enough.
Yeah.
was too friendly. So, and a part of that, I mean, we spoke to previous directors that held the position of OASF director on the board, and it was they got a lot of criticism over the years, sometimes rightly, sometimes wrongly. It was there was an opportunity for learning there, wasn't there? And that opportunity was that as soon as that we got the new owners in, it would have been easy to have just said, right, let's put somebody on the board, let's just do it start. But we knew we'd learn what that was. All these issues were going to come up, and I think as well it puts a lot of pressure on one person. And so now
and a volunteer.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's because what we didn't want to do is we didn't want to create a situation where you get somebody joining the board with their eye on that position, because that's what's happened before, and that has happened again since the takeover. I think there's been, and it needed to be.
What are you saying about me, Matt?
I'm not naming any names. I'm going to be very careful. But I think what has to put first is the board of OASF. You have to put that first, and in terms of the integrity, and that's being achieved now, and that's really, really good to hear. And I think it's far better for different directors to be able to go and experience and go and sit in and have a different, because you're all going to have a different take and you're all going to have a different contribution, and I think it's far more democratic. I think it's far I think it bodes much better for the future of both Oldham Athletic and OASF.
I think the club value that broadness of opinion as well. I think rather than it being me coming in every month with the same old opinions, it's
and it brought it strengthens the bond between the two boards as well, because you all more people get to work together, and it's not just about that one point of contact and then this sort of like non-existent board of people that are in the past. And I think let's be absolutely clear. It's I think this is a credit to both OASF and OAFC on this, because we've got different people. A fresh start, I'm not throwing stones at anybody. I know how difficult it was for OASF in the past, and how difficult some of the people at the club must have been to deal with. So it was just a situation that needed refreshing in every single sense of the word, and it has been. And now it's great to hear that there is so much cooperation and communication, and that you are talking about really genuinely important things like the pricing, because it's a huge thing in football across the board. Like, it's hugely important that fans can afford to attend games, for both the fans from a financial point of view, and for the club. They need the support, and how pricing is going to change and evolve over the next 5, 10, 15 years. So admission prices to football clubs has gone up way, way, way above rate of inflation. It's hugely more expensive than it used to be. So it's a massively critical thing.
It's not just ticketing as well. It's things like catering, which we've been really trying to get somewhere with, and I think finally, very slowly getting somewhere with. I saw the pie supply has changed, and all right, the prices are still higher than I'd like them to be, but the quality seems to be a bit better. The club shop, which I think will take a bit more work, but I think we're making some progress there, at least in the sort of planning stage of things. So yeah, it's that all round thing of making sure that the club can earn enough money to be sustainable, because we know at the moment it's Frank and family putting a lot of the money in, and so we're sort of mindful that the club need to operate in difficult economic situations, but also we don't want fans being totally shafted to cover that gap.
Yeah. It's probably worth us sort of explaining a little bit about what we do. It's not a case of we don't just go to a meeting and say with like Craig and Darren and say the prices need to be lower, or this needs to be better, and we don't, and that's it. We, for example, on this ticketing stuff, we've pulled together we did an analysis of similar clubs across the leagues, what their prices are, what the prices are for each age category, for season tickets, for half season tickets, early bird, full price, match day prices. What if I pay in advance of the match day? All that sort of stuff. We compiled all that, we particularly looked at like comparator clubs. We produced a report. We sent it to the club. Chris has spoken to Craig and Darren, and he's been to the board meeting where it's been discussed.
I think you've undersold your role in this, Dom, as well, because one of the things Dom that I think has been really valuable is also start to produce some statistics on deprivation and median income, and not just contextualizing ticket prices relative to other clubs in the league, but also try to put some context on. It's all well and good that I don't know, I can't remember for the top of my head, but maybe somewhere like Bromley has more expensive tickets than us. I don't know if that's true, but as an example, Bromley's a much wealthier place than Oldham, so you would expect them to be higher, higher in prices. So to give Dom his credit, because he deserves it, he's really pulled together that data set that I think the club have found really valuable themselves.
And I think that's brilliant, because at the end of the day, like if you don't do that, the club may do it and commit resources and time to do something like that if they could. But chances are, you're shaking your head, Dom, they're probably not going to be able to do that. So pricing is probably going to be related just to whatever is happening, like you say, within the league, and sort of based on that kind of market prices. But I think what you're saying there is you're adding another level to the pricing. You're adding a level brought by your own expertise and the skill sets you have, and that's adding value to the work of the club, which is brilliant.
I mean,
I think it's a case of sort of we volunteer our time to add to their resource. I'm sure if they had all the time in the world, then they would do all that. Of course,
it's still a relatively small group of people that run the club, and when I say run it, I mean just in general. Like, they're not just the whole team. It's a tight team, isn't it? The time is precious. Yeah.
Sorry, Chris, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, I think this has been a nice example of where we've used our skill sets well. We've sort of had Dom looking at deprivation statistics, which is his bread and butter. We've had Paul Whitehead sort of doing some work on the sort of financial side of things, which is his expertise. I pulled that together into sort of a logical and consistent report, which is more or less what I do for work. And together we presented that as a nice package where Craig was able to take that then to the board meeting and present our work to the rest of the board, and we've made that job easy for them, if you like. And I think that's where we're really valuable as an asset, and where we need member support to be able to do more stuff like this.
I think that's it's brilliant, and that's the value of what OASF is and can be. It's doing a lot of, let's use a football analogy, a lot of work off the ball. You've got a team of people there, directors and potentially other volunteers that can do this work on behalf of the football club. Like, if there's not an organisation organising that work, such as OASF, it doesn't get done. If an organisation such as OASF isn't liaising with the club to understand what needs to be done, then it doesn't get done. So there are so many opportunities for people who want to get involved in football and in community through OASF. And I think what you've highlighted there is a really, really good example of doing something which is really, really useful, valuable work that contributes highly to the football club and highly to the supporters. So, hopefully anyone listening who hasn't signed up yet, sign up, because you are genuinely supporting the work that the guys are doing, and it helps the football club. It's £12 a year, which is nothing, into OASF, but then the work that goes into the football club, you are investing in the football club when you invest in OASF. And I think that's a really good takeaway, because I don't think that's always necessarily been understood or been the case at times, but that's the whole point of it, isn't it? The OASF invests in the football club and in the fans and the community, and I think that is a really good example of you guys doing that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we, as Chris says, we're volunteers. We don't get anything out of this other than the satisfaction of hopefully slightly cheaper tickets. But all the sort of proceeds or the surplus that we make, it goes into our contingency fund, which will in the future
It's an insurance
or
policy.
directly
Yeah.
go into the club. It all leads back into the club eventually.
But I think it's a you know the points you've made, and it's about understanding, you know, knowledge. I mean, you two, you know, from far more academic backgrounds than I am, but there is a really good combination of you know, you have to have that real life experience of football, going to the matches. People who run the club have got the real life experience and the business experience and whatever else it is, the sporting experience, bringing all this stuff together to try and create a football club that is really well armed with information and people who understand things and who can interpret things and who can put these things into action. And that's where I feel like we're in a much healthier situation as a football club because of this wealth of people who want to be involved in it and who are contributing to it. Whereas in the past, I feel like it become quite isolationist, hadn't it? And that's just the way it had been with the types of people that were running the club and things like that. And I'm not just necessarily going back to the last administration, but it's different now, and all this information can help build the football club in a way that is relatable and relative to the town that it's located in and the people who represent it. And we as fans are the representatives of Oldham Athletic when we travel up and down the country and we turn up at Boundary Park. And yeah, I don't credit to you lads. I think it's great. So well done. Have you got any other little points that you'd like to drop about OASF before we play with Latics Mind?
Just a couple of quick things. We talked a bit about stickers. They are going to be restocked on our website this week. However, we also have another product on the way, which we think is also exciting, but I can't really say much more about it at the moment. I would also say that we are phasing out or merging our 1895 lottery, which we know has been the sort of biggest single earner for the 1895 contingency fund over the last couple of years. But essentially, we recognise that it doesn't particularly deliver value for money for our members at the moment. So what we are doing is merging it with the club and community trust to make one Latics lottery, which is still going to be called the Giant Cash Bonanza, where basically it's £2 a week. The draws are weekly rather than anything else, and then there are much greater prizes and more regular prizes than what we were able to offer through our OSF specific lottery. So there are 26 tenors every week, 4 25s every week, and £1,000 every week, and then there are sort of these big super draws every quarter for £5,000 or £10,000, and then there are a few sort of shirts and match tickets type products as well. So I'd really encourage anyone who is currently signed up for the 1895 lottery, or someone who would, want to contribute to the Community Trust, Sports Foundation, and the club's academy, sign up for the Giant Cash Bonanza. That is the best way to do it. We've basically reached this agreement with the club and the Community Trust where the sort of proceeds that we were getting for the 1895 fund will be maintained. They're guaranteed, but we're hoping that by combining our forces, we'll actually increase the amount of money flowing into that fund and to the academy and to the vital work the Community Trust does as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, so there you go.
And obviously, sign up as a member, osf.co.uk.
Yeah.
£12 a year. Click become a member. Do it now.
Join
Do it
now.
Do it. Do it right now. Do it right now. Unless you're driving.
Unless you're driving.
Yeah.
In which case, do it when safe to do so.
Also, pull over at the next service station and do it.
Yeah.
If anyone is struggling to sign up, or your membership has lapsed and you need help re-signing up, come to us at the fan bar, or message us, email us via our website or hello@osf.co.uk.
Dartboard number 9. We're always there before games.
Dartboard number 9. And it's really important that you do, because I would like OASF to sponsor Lattice Mind again next year, and they're going to need some money in the kitty to do that. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read out the questions. I'm going to take the first answer from either of you. So if you're feeling confident, you need to give us the answer. Okay?
This feels like a recipe for disaster.
It's like the chase.
Or you can see each other, so you could put your hand up. But obviously, time is of the essence as well. I'll let you two figure it out. How are you going to do it?
Put our sponsorship money to good use and get us some buzzers.
Let's get some buzzers. Yeah, okay, we'll get you some. Yeah, that's a good idea. Right, okay. Well, let's try it without buzzers first of all, and let's play Lattice Mind. Good luck, lads. Lattice Mind is sponsored by Oldham Athletic Supporters Foundation, investing in the fans, the club, and the community. Join today at oasf.co.uk for just £12 a year. OASF, because we're stronger together. Who were Latic's biggest wins of 3-0 against so far this season?
Chris.
Which
I've forgotten all the games.
You can pass.
Swindon.
Pass.
Which former Latic am I? I made my debut for Latics in 1987 after coming through the youth setup, but I'm more remembered for being a Stockport County legend.
Pass.
I think this is before, pass. This is before both of us were born.
Who beat Latics 5-1 in the Football League Trophy this season?
Notts County.
Was it United?
Incorrect. It was Man City under 21s. What type of hat did Rick Holden famously model during his Latics Pinch Me season?
Bowler.
It was a trilby. Which former Aston Villa, Tranmere and Chesterfield centre-back did Latics sign in 2007?
Neil Trotman.
It was Ruben Hazel. Who was Latics kit manager during the glory days, 86 to 94?
Pass.
What nationality is Mike Fondop?
Cameroonian.
Correct.
Get in.
Up to the second of the first 26, how many games have Latics come from behind to win?
1.
It is none.
No.
Up to 26 of the first 26, how many league games have Latics lost this season after taking the lead?
2.
1. Barnet away.
Typical.
How many ex-EFL clubs did Latics play? I've started, so I'll finish. How many ex-EFL clubs did Latics play during their 3 league campaigns in the National League?
I've got a bit of time,
9.
Chris.
9? No, it was 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We didn't get 0.
You got 1, lads. It was pretty rubbish. I'm not going to lie.
We were just looking at each other.
Between it was absolute
yeah.
confusion from question 1. I think that set the tone, really.
It really did.
There was some.
I won't lie to you. I was dreading this.
Yeah,
there was some that were definitely way out of your age range. To be fair, you got the Mike Fondop is indeed from Cameroon. You got that correct. You passed on who was Latics kit manager during the glory days from 86 to 94. It was Ronnie Evans. The former Latic who made his debut in 87. Coming through the youth setup, but was more well remembered for being at Stockport County, was Mike Flynn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to pretend I know who that is.
Yeah.
My dad grew up a Stockport fan, so I didn't know that.
Oh, you knew that, but the pressure. And finally, I had to add another one onto this because it wasn't. It was only 2 at the time of writing. But Latic's biggest wins of the season were 3-0, and they were against 3 different sides. They were. Can you remember now?
No, I've still suddenly forgotten every single game we played this season.
You've forgotten last week's win.
Yeah.
Away at
Bristol. I don't know. Who do we even play?
Gillingham. Come on, lads.
I've got the Latics mind like
You've got Latic's mush mind, I'm afraid. Yeah, so we won 3-0 at Gillingham. We also beat Cheltenham 3-0 and we beat Newport 3-0.
So we can edit this bit out, right, Matt?
We can. I mean, that is possible, but I obviously won't. Because you've come on and you've covered yourself in glory with lots of fantastic things from OASF. Obviously we have to offset that with the ritual humiliation that is Latic's mind for many of us.
We can't all be Paddy, eh?
No, exactly. So it is what it is. But you give, like I always say, you give the opportunity to many at home to play along, and that's the sacrifice you make on behalf of Latics fans. Not only is that the sacrifice you make, Lance, you make the sacrifice of your time and your energy with OASF, and I personally like to say thank you for that. It's very much appreciated what you do. I'm really pleased that the stickers and sticker albums have been such a huge success, and the main thing is that we have another promotion campaign to celebrate in sticker form in the not too distant future.
We'd love the Road to League One sticker album next season.
Oh, 100%. And just to mix it up a bit, have it as with the journey to the league title rather than the playoff.
I think that might be a push this season.
But next season. I'd love to win the league. I'd love to get out of this division by winning it. That would be fantastic. I'll take automatic promotion.
I'll take that for promotion to the championship. I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm not greedy. We the thing is, we've done the Wembley thing last season, and I wouldn't swap it for anything. It was unbelievable. But oh my God, going there and going through that and losing will be horrible. So I'd hate that. It was so emotionally draining. And we did that National League playoff campaign was perfect. It was just perfection. So let's avoid all the stress of that and just go up as champs, please.
Or we could have I think the next best thing would be, on the last game of the season, we win to clinch or leapfrog into the automatic promotion places.
Yeah.
That's like a Wembley, but at Boundary Park.
Like a really, really special moment. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Fantastic. Well, look, the thing is that we know that there are more successful days ahead of us, and that there is light on that particular. I was going to say on that particular horizon, but I'm mixing my metaphors. There is a light at the end of that particular tunnel. We're in a good place right now. So fantastic. Well, it's been great to have you on. Get a break from Andy for a week, which is nice. No Dave. I'll see him on Thursday for the phone-in, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys as well. Give us a call. New callers get to have a spin of the Wheel of Wonder, which is a very special thing, of course. Right, gentlemen, I thank you very much for your time and your service. Thank you for your time and your service.
It's a pleasure to be on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't be a stranger. You're always welcome. And listeners, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on Thursday for the phone-in. We'll be able to talk about the win at Bromley, or will we? Let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
Hey Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage? What's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
A macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh.
No cream?
No.
Well, if you want to buy Dave
macchiato,
then go to buymeacoffee.com/We Are Oldham. I'll just have a Nescafe.
Oh. Thank you, listeners.